Hello guys, so we are going to continue the discussion with respect to Python, and in this video we are going to talk about encapsulation and abstraction. Now this will be two videos. In this specific video we'll dedicatedly discuss about encapsulation, and then in the next video we'll talk about abstraction. Encapsulation and abstraction, they are very important concepts in object-oriented programming, and it will be helpful to design a very good maintainable and reusable code whenever we define all these things and use all these things in a project. Okay. So if I probably go ahead and read this, here you can see encapsulation involves bundling data and methods that operate on the data with a single unit, while abstraction involves hiding complex implementation details and exposing only the necessary feature. Okay. So abstraction involves hiding complex implementation detail and exposing only the necessary feature. So we will be discussing more about this in the next session, because there will be specifically discussing about abstraction. But if I talk about encapsulation, it is nothing but it is a concept of wrapping data variables and methods together as a single unit. It restricts direct access to the same object, to some of the object components, which is a mean of preventing accidental inference and misuse of data. Now, what does this basically mean? Restrict direct access to some of the object components. And here we are basically saying, hey, it is a concept of wrapping data, that is variables and methods, together as a single unit. So let me just go ahead and show you some of the example over here. And as I said, in this video, we are just going to talk about encapsulation. And in the next video, we'll talk about the next part, that is abstraction. Okay. So encapsulation we can do with something called as getter and setter method. Okay. Now, before I go ahead and make you understand about getter and setter method, let me just go ahead and talk about three important access variables. One is public. Okay. And I hope you may have seen this in other programming language, in C#, in C++. So public, protected, and private variables. Okay. We'll talk about this, what exactly it is. Okay. Now let's go ahead and do one thing, guys. If I'm going to create a class, let's say I'm going to create a class called as person. Okay. And let me just go ahead and write definition in it. Definition. This is my constructor. Here I'll take self, name, and age. Okay. Now here you can see that if I go ahead and write self dot underscore underscore name. Okay. Or just let me write self dot name is equal to name. Okay. This variable or this instance variable that we are actually creating, this is basically called as public variables. Okay. Public variables. Okay. This instance variable are public variables. I'll talk about it, why we say it as public variable. And similarly, if I go ahead and define this self.age is equal to age, this is also a public variable. This basically means I can call this, or I can use this particular variable from outside of this specific class. Okay. That basically means, okay, let's go ahead and see. I will go ahead and define person, and here I will just say, hey, the name is Krish, and here the name is age is 34. Okay. Now, when I say public variable, public access modifier, also I can say, see, I can also call this as public access modifiers. We'll also be discussing about protected and private access modifiers. Okay. We can also talk like that, variables or access modifiers. Okay. Now here you can see that there is one very important statement. It restricts a direct access to some of the object components. Here, if I go ahead and print, okay, person.name, okay, I will be able to print it. Okay. Here I am able to get Krish. Now let's see. If I go ahead and use this person, okay, and if I try to understand inside these objects, what are the different inbuilt methods or variables that are probably available over here. So if I go ahead and use this dir function, and if I just go ahead and execute it, here you'll be able to see, hey, and here, this is what we used, right? Definition underscore init. This is a constructor. So here also you'll be able to find this method is there. Okay. And along with this, you'll also be seeing there'll be two more variables that are available. That is age and name, right? And these are nothing but these are my public variables, right? Or instance variables. Which is specifically over here at public. The reason why I'm saying it as public, because here you can see that I'm able to see this particular variables directly over here. Okay. And I can use it from anywhere of the program just by using the object. I can use it in different functions anywhere I want specifically. Okay. Now, one thing that you can probably do it, right? I can probably create a function. I can go ahead and write get underscore name, and I can give the object over here, let's say person, and I can go ahead and return something like this, return person dot name. Okay. And I will go ahead and execute this. Okay. Now, let me just go ahead and print this. So here, if I go ahead and write get underscore name, and if I just call it with respect to this particular person, here you can see that I'm able to access this particular name from outside the function, outside the class itself, right? Now, there may be a scenario where I may want to define some of the variables in such a way that outside this class, I should not be able to provide it as an access. Okay, because this may be some very important variables, right? And those variables, I don't want to change it. Once we are initializing it, we don't really want to change it in the later stages. Okay. If you want to just change it, we should only be able to change it while we are creating the object, right? And I don't want this particular variable to be as an access over there, right? So that is the reason why what we do is that we use something called as protected and private variables. Now, let me just show you one example of creating a private variable. Right now, if I just go ahead and see directory of person, I'll be able to see all these variables are publicly available. Now, I will just go ahead and copy the same thing. Let's see this. Okay. I will just go ahead and copy this. I'll paste it over here. Okay. Now, instead of just writing underscore init, see, I'm creating a person class. I'm using name and comma age as a parameter while I'm giving it over here. Now, instead of writing like this, I will use double underscore. Okay. Double underscore name. And here also I will go ahead and use double underscore age. Now, what is this double underscore name? This becomes a private variable. If you want to define a private variable, I have to write double underscore. And here also I will go ahead and write the private variable as double underscore. Okay. Now, if I go ahead and execute this, okay. Now see, focus over here. Okay. I'll remove all this particular code. Okay. And let me do one thing. Let me just go ahead and execute this particular code. Okay. And let me just create an object. So I will go ahead and create an object, and here I will write person, and let me just go ahead and give my values, Krish and 34. Okay. And let me just make this spelling curse correct. So it should be person. Okay. Now, if I go ahead and check dir with respect to this particular person, now see, here you can see that I'm not able to see this particular variable, right? Do you see this? Or let me do one thing. Let me just create one more public variable along with this. So here I will go ahead and write self dot name age. Let me just go ahead and say that gender. Okay. So gender is equal to, I will go ahead and assign this particular gender variable, which I'm actually providing over here. Okay. Let's say that this information. Now here you can see this is a public variable and this is a private variable. Why I'm saying it as a private variable? Because I'll just tell you in some time. Okay. Now let's go ahead and update it over here, and let's say that I'm writing this is male. Okay. If I go ahead and execute it, here you can see directory of person. Okay. It takes 3 positional argument, but 4 were given. 3, one is name, age, and self.gender is equal to gender. Let's see why this is an issue over here. Self.gender is equal to gender. Okay, I did not execute this, maybe. Okay, now it should work, right? Now here you can actually see that I'm able to see this particular public variable. I'm not able to see all this underscore name or underscore age below this, right? I'm not able to see it. Why? Because that is a private variable, and wherever private variable will be displayed, it will be displayed over here in this format, right? So here you can see when I write underscore person underscore age, the private variable basically becomes in this particular way, right? It will get appended along with the person class, right? So I'm not getting this direct variable anyway. Underscore age is nowhere present. So this basically indicates that this is a private variable. Okay. Now let me do the same thing. Let me just go ahead and create a function, and let me say, hey, get underscore name. And here I'm actually going to write, I'm going to give an object called as person, and I'm just going to say return person dot underscore name. Okay. I'm just going to return this. Now let me do the same thing over here. Okay. Let me just copy this entire thing. Let me call this person, and let me just go ahead and call this particular function name, get underscore name. Okay. And if I go ahead and see this, and if I just give this particular parameter, will the name get printed? The answer is no. Why? Because it is saying that, hey, it has no attribute underscore name. The reason is very simple, because this is a private variable and you will not be able to access this. You'll definitely not be able to access it, because if I go ahead and see inside the directory, I'm able to see that, hey, my person, the underscore age has been in this particular name, right? Yes, in this directory you're able to see, but as a developer you're able to see. But as a common person, you'll not know that, hey, my private variable has got converted in this particular name, right? And that is the reason you're not able to access it. So here we are restricting, right? What happens with the help of access modifiers or encapsulation? We are restricting some of the variables, because I don't want anyone to see this particular variable or directly access this variable, because these are some very important attributes in a class which I should not be changing frequently. Yes, as a developer, I can definitely see it. What I can do, I can just go ahead and copy this and I can print it over here. Okay, I can do that as a developer, but this is not a good practice. The reason we create a private variable, because it is saying to your fellow developers, hey, this is a private variable and it should always be remaining hidden. Now, if I go ahead and execute like this, I'll be able to get the answer, right? I'll be able to get 34, right? Or if I want to probably display the name, I will be able to get this particular name, right? But if I directly call with underscore name, it will not be possible, because I'll be getting that particular error, right? So what does private variable basically say? That a private variable cannot be accessed from outside the class. Very simple. It cannot be accessed from outside the class. Can we access it inside the class? Yes, we can do it. And for that only we'll be using getter and setter method, right? So private variable is something like which you cannot access outside the class. Even you have a derived class that can also not access it. Okay. So this is one of the very important property in encapsulation. And this is where we discuss about private and public variable. There is also one more variable which is called as protected. How do I define protected? So protected is nothing but, I will use the same thing. And let's say instead of writing double underscore, I'll just write single underscore. So this is what a protected variable is like, right? A protected variable or access modifier is like. Okay. Now protected variable basically says that, hey, you cannot use it outside the class. Like outside the class basically means we cannot access this underscore name outside the class. Okay. But we can access it from a derived class. So let me just go ahead and write, let's say if I go ahead and say employee is my another class. Okay. Employee is my another class. And if I say, hey, this is inheriting person. So here I have created a class employee, which is inheriting person. Now what I'm actually going to do, I'll just go ahead and write my init function, right? So here I'm again going to write my init function. And inside this particular init function, I'm just going to pass all the parameters, like let's say age, gender. Okay. And what I'm actually going to do over here, I'll go inside this, and now I'm going to just write super dot. And since I'm inheriting all the attributes from the upper class, so I will just go ahead and write this self comma name comma age comma gender. Okay. Now here you'll be able to see that if I have this class employee, right, I should be able to access this particular values. Okay. And that is what protected variable is all about, right? Whenever we create a protected variable in one of the classes, only its derived class will be able to access it. Other than that, you won't be able to access it outside that particular class. Okay. So once I probably create this derived class, now from this derived class, I should be able to access all these variables. So what I will do, I will just remove all these things. Okay. I will not be requiring over here. Now let me just go ahead and create my employee. Okay. And here I'm going to define my employee. Okay. And let's say that I'm going to give some values like Krish 34. And here I'm going to give the gender as male. Okay. Now I will just go ahead and print employee dot underscore name, right? So once I execute it here, okay, 5 parameters is required. So let's see which all parameters. Name, age, gender. Over here I'm given name, age, gender. And here you will be able to see that underscore name underscore age. It takes 4 positional arguments, but 5 were given. Let's see where it is. 5 were given. So self is over here, employee person is over here, employee is over here, and this is nothing but employee dot underscore name. Okay guys, one mistake that I've done over here, I've used self keyword. So I should not be using this. Now I think it should be displaying it. Okay. So employee dot underscore name. Here you'll be able to see that I'll be able to get this particular output. So in the case of whenever we define a protected variable, it is just like, say, it is not anything is compulsory in Python. It is like a very it is a kind of programming language where there are no strict rules. But most of the concepts that we learn, right? Let's say that if I'm trying to create a private variable, if I'm trying to create a protected variable, in case of protected variable, I have to always make sure that this variable will only be accessible only from the derived class. In the case of private variable, nothing should be accessible outside the class, and public variable is what you should be able to see that you'll be able to access it from anywhere, right? So here I have actually shown you the example of all these things with respect to private variable, with respect to public variable and all. And let's say that if I am creating a private variable, if I'm not able to access it from outside the class, can we access it from methods that are present inside the class? Okay. And that is what we are basically going to do now. Okay. And we are going to learn encapsulation with the help of getter and setter method. So let's go ahead and write encapsulation with getter and setter. Okay. Now, what I'm actually going to do over here is that, first of all, I'm just going to create my class. So let me just go ahead and write class person, and this will be definition init underscore. And here I'm going to basically write self name age. Okay. And here you can see self dot underscore name. So this will basically be my private variable. I will go ahead and initialize it. Private access modifier or variable. Okay. Or variable. Okay. And see, it is very simple. I need to probably not display this anywhere. It should be restricted within the class itself. That is what is my aim, right? Then I have self underscore age, which will be equal to age itself. And here I'm going to probably say that this is also my private variable. Okay. Now, in order to access this particular variable inside the class, I can definitely do it. And for this, we'll be using something called as getter method for name. Okay. So we'll go ahead and create one function which is called as get underscore name. And here we're going to use the self keyword. And with the help of this self keyword, wherever we use, we should be able to access the underscore name. So here I'm going to return self dot underscore name. Okay. So this is basically my getter method for name, right? So here you can see that I will just be exposing this particular method to the outside world because this is a public method, right? I will not be exposing underscore name. With the help of this particular method, I should be able to get this, right? Now, here is what I will talk about, one very important thing, right? Have you seen a washing machine? So if I'm probably working onto a washing machine, in washing machine, we'll be able to see buttons, we'll be able to see how to start, we'll be able to see that where we need to put the clothes, right? But internal working is completely hidden, right? And that is what over here, same thing we are doing. The internal things are probably hidden over here. Only the things that matter to us, just like this function name is available for us or visible to us, right? So here you can see that just by calling this particular method get underscore name, I should be able to get the name itself from this particular function. And this is called as a getter method. I may also have setter method for name, right? Now this setter method for name, what it does is that this will help us to change any values that I give to the name, which is basically a private variable, right? Over here. So this is my private variable. I need to probably change that particular value, let's say. So I can just use self underscore name is equal to name, right? So with the help of getter, we are retrieving the data. With the help of setter, we are changing the name itself. Okay. Similarly, let's say that I want it for the age, and I can also do that, and probably use a getter method for that and setter method for that. So first I will create a getter method. Okay. And here you can see I'm getting the age, just writing self dot underscore age. And now in the case of setter method, let's say that I want to probably put or change any age, right? So what I do, I first of all check a condition. If age is greater than 0, then only I will go ahead and change it. Otherwise, I'll say age cannot be negative, right? So this is just one example with encapsulation with getter and setter, and we are completely hiding the main variables that we have, right? And we are only exposing this particular functions, that is get underscore name and set underscore name. Now, let me do one thing. Let me just go ahead and call all these functions. Okay. And then you'll be able to understand. First of all, I'll go ahead and create an object. Let's say this will be person. And here I'm going to use Krish. Here I'm going to use 34. Okay. Now, you will be able to see here what I'm actually going to do is that access and modify private variables using getter and setter. Okay. This is what we are going to do, because obviously we cannot use directly the private variable outside the class, right? So here I'm going to just print person dot get underscore name. So if I want to go ahead and display get underscore name, I should be able to display it. Then if I go ahead and print person dot get underscore age, so I should be able to get that also. And then I will just go ahead and write person dot set underscore age, and here I'm going to basically write 35, right? And then I'm going to print person dot get age again, get underscore age. So I should be able to see the age now. Okay. Yeah. And then I will go ahead and set the age, let's say to -5, so that I get the other error that I have actually written. Now, initially I'm creating an object, then I'm probably displaying the name, displaying the age. So Krish and 34 will be the answer. Then when we set the age, then it will get replaced with 35. And then we can actually see this, right? So Krish 34, then we, you can see over here is that what we are doing. You are printing, you are setting this age, and then you are printing that particular age. And then when you are setting it to -5, you can see that it is showing age cannot be negative, right? So this is what is all about encapsulation. We have discussed about all the access modifiers like public, private, and public, private, protected. You understood that private variables cannot be accessed outside the class, So that is the reason we create getter and setter method. Public variables can be accessed much easily. Protected needs to be accessed only from the derived class. But again, in Python, nothing is compulsory. As I showed you, when I checked the dir directory of that particular object, right, I should be able to see all the private and public variables, right? And with the help of those name, I can directly call it. But it is always a good practice that we should follow whenever we are implementing things. So yes, this was it. In the next video, we are going to discuss about abstraction. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.